Hi, I'm Henry from Rooftop Republic. Today I'm going to compost at a very special place in Hong Kong. Let's come meet Isabella with me.
We are at the Top Desk Rooftop Farms in Hong Kong, a farm project by DBS Hong Kong, Swire Properties and also Rooftop Republic. As you can see here, we are growing some corns, some Ceylon spinach, and also some amaranth. So let's move on to the other side of the farm, where Henry will introduce more.
And as for here, we're growing some okras, peanuts, tong choy, and some sweet potato leaves. So here in a very interesting part of the farm, where we put this plastic, which we call tumblers, and we put compost in these tumblers to heat them up. And eventually, microbes in the materials will break it down. We should all be conscious of the amount of food waste we produce and try to minimize it in the age of sustainability. Composting food waste is one of the methods that is fun and regenerative. In today's video, Rooftop Republic is going to show you how to compost at home with these materials. This is the compost that I made months ago. And composting is a process that mimics nature piling up organic matters in an appropriate environment to break it down. And it's very simple. The benefits of composting are numerous. First, it helps soil to improve its structure, reduces landfills and greenhouse gases. And it also sequesters carbon from the atmosphere. And most importantly, it helps to build stronger and healthier food systems. To keep it simple, composting can be categorized as aerobic and anaerobic composting, which means that it's done without oxygen or with oxygen. Vermicomposting, for example, is a process that is done with the addition of worms. Let me show you the door to successful and joyful composting. For home gardeners and community farms, we can use an old bucket or bin for composting, something just like this. You can use the materials that you collected in the kitchen, for example, avocados, passion fruit. And for brown materials, you can use dry leaves or office waste paper. Before you put your greens and brown materials into the compost bin, you need to process the food waste into smaller pieces. You can do it by using a pair of scissors or a shredder. You should stack green and brown materials just like this until you fill the compost bin out. And remember, you have to keep the lid always on unless you will perform regularly turning. And finally, after all the composting, you have to keep the compost bin in a cool and dry area. So here's an important tip. You should only start turning your pile after 2 weeks. So that's when the compost starts to heat up. And after a month or so, you can start mixing the pile from the outside to the core, where the heat evens out. You will be able to see the compost ready in 2 to 3 months. Open the lid to see if it gives off a nice and herby smell. If it smells like urine, you should add more browns into the compost bin or drain the liquid at the bottom of the bin and add the compost for a longer period of time. You can use the compost by simply either mixing it with the existing soil or simply top dressing it as a mulch. And now I'm going to visit my friend Josh. He's a master in plants and compost. Let's follow me. Hey Josh, hi.
Hey, Henry.
How are you doing?
Good, man. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, well, good.
It's a compost doing great too.
Why don't you come and smell it? And touch it, whatever. In our house, we effectively upcycle all of our nutrients. So basically, our food waste becomes compost. A little while ago, we bought a tumbler, and initially I thought it was going to be, pretty straightforward. I'll have the right mixture of green, the right mixture of brown, but very quickly nature took over, and a lot of it is inhabited by black soldier flies, which are actually excellent, but it became a learning process. But what's ended up happening is the vast majority of our food waste, in fact, all of our food waste, can go in there meat cooked otherwise, and the black soldier flies and nature does the rest. Everything goes in here. So, you know, meats, eggs, fruit shells, or even like, so there's some kombucha that's almost done, whatever's in there, that'll go in there, coffee grounds, that'll all go in here. And at least once a day, this will go into the tumbler, get mixed in once, maybe we'll add some brown material, if you remember, and that's kind of it. So this is the tumbler. I've invited a friend of mine who knows compost and soil health really well, saying, hey, 幫我睇睇，喂. I just want to make sure that I'm on track, it's okay. Just want to know if it's okay, based on what you can tell, what can I do to make it a bit better? Is there anything I need to be aware of?
Yeah. Actually, you can see there are lots of biodiversity inside, many bugs, and it's a good sign because diversity is good. But I can see it is a little bit wet, so it may be better if you can add a little bit of high carbon materials to mix it up. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so cardboard, dried leaves, things of this nature.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, and then when it's ready, I'll mix it in with some soil that I'm ready to use to pot new things, or I'll break it up a little bit and sprinkle it where I need to sprinkle it. Or if there are smaller plants that I need to be more careful of, be more mindful of how much nutrients I put in, I might dilute it with some water and spray that instead. It's hard to be responsible for everyone and everything, and often when we think of an issue like, you know, food waste or the environment or sustainability, you know, whatever that even really means, you know, it can become a really large and daunting thing. But really, if we just focus on what we can control, that's where we can start and see how good we can get at that.